Grace's hands shook. She stared at Diane across the table. I don't understand. Diane shuffled papers. Wouldn't look up. We've received complaints. Multiple complaints. About your communication style. What complaints? Team members feel uncomfortable. Grace's heart pounded. Uncomfortable. I just saved this department $3 million. The client said yesterday it was the best analysis they'd ever seen. This isn't about technical skills. Then what? The HR guy cleared his throat. Been sitting there silent the whole time. Ms. Adimi, administrative leave. Effective immediately. Grace stood. Chair scraped. What for what? Sit down, he said. No. Tell me what I did. Diane closed her folder. Finally looked at Grace. Creating a hostile work environment. Insubordination. Making colleagues feel threatened. Each word hit like a punch. Threatened. I answer emails in minutes. I work 70-hour weeks. I've never missed one deadline in 2 years. Performance isn't the issue. Then what is silence? Grace's voice cracked. This is because I spoke up. In the client meeting, I corrected Brad when he couldn't answer. I told them who actually did the work. Diane stood. This conversation is over. Security will escort you. My visa. Grace's voice went small. If you terminate me, I have 60 days. 60 days to find a job or leave the country. Not our concern. Diane walked to the door. 30 minutes to clear your desk. Before we go further, I need you to do something. Right now. Scroll down and comment what city you're watching from. Because Grace's story, it's happening in your city. Your workplace. To someone you know. Hit subscribe. You need to see how this ends. Drop your city below. Let's see how far this goes. Security guard behind her. 3 steps back. Grace walked through the office. Mark saw her coming. Grabbed his phone fast. Yeah, hey, sorry, gotta take this call. Turned his back. Sarah disappeared into the break room. Brad stayed at his desk. Didn't move. Just smiled. Grace grabbed her mother's photo. A mug. A sweater. 2 years fitting in her hands. Ma'am, we need to move, the guard said. She nodded. Couldn't speak. Speaking meant crying. Crying meant losing. Elevator going down. Grace watched her reflection in the steel doors. 42. Blazer that cost too much. Hair straightened that morning with care. Professional. Perfect. Invisible. Her phone buzzed. Mother's text, did you get the promotion? Tell me good news. Grace turned off her phone. Lobby full of people. Nobody stopped her. Nobody asked. She walked out. Texas heat hit her face. Made it to her car. Then the tears came. Deep sobs that hurt. 5 years. 5 years of sacrifice. Visa applications. Lawyers. Fees. Leaving her mother alone. Working weekends. Holidays. Proving herself over and over and over. Erased in 30 minutes. Phone buzzed. Email from Brad. Hey Grace, quick question about the Morrison project. Can you send access codes? Thanks. He didn't even know. Or didn't care. Grace deleted it. Opened her sent folder. Months of work. Projects completed. Analyses written. Everything Brad presented as his. Everything Diane ignored. Everything that disappeared when Grace's name touched it. She started her car. Drove home. Pulled out her laptop. Started typing. I have a work visa but I'm invisible. They only see my black skin. Grace stared at the words. Kept typing. Her fingers were shaking but they didn't stop. She was back at reception. First day. The blonde woman hadn't looked up. Name Grace Adimi. I start today. How do you spell that? Adeyemi? Long sigh. Slow typing. Don't see you. HR confirmed 3 times. I have the email, hold on. 30 minutes standing there. Other employees walked past. Nobody said hello. Nobody welcomed her. Just stared. Grace blinked. Back in her apartment now. Kept writing. Week 2. First team meeting. Grace had an idea about data pipeline efficiency. If we restructure the intake process, we could reduce processing time by 40%. Silence. Some nods. They moved on. Next week. Brad stood at the front. So I had this idea about the data pipeline. Everyone leaned forward. Brad, that's brilliant, great thinking, man. Grace had sat there. Said nothing. She stopped typing. Took a breath. Started again. Month 3. Performance review with Diane. You're meeting expectations. Meeting I completed every project ahead of schedule. I brought in the Martinez account. Yes, but there are concerns. About your teamwork. Teamwork I'm always available. I respond immediately. Some colleagues feel you're not approachable. That you keep to yourself. I'm not invited to team lunches. Diane had looked uncomfortable. Well, people can't invite you if you seem closed off. I'm not in the team group chat. I don't know anything about that. My ideas get ignored. Then someone else presents them. Grace, I think you're being sensitive. Maybe it's a cultural thing. Grace's hands hit the keys harder now. The words pouring out. She wrote about the accent. Diane suggesting voice coaching. Some clients have mentioned they have trouble understanding you. I have a master's degree. In English. I've spoken it my entire life. It's just business, Grace. Don't make it personal. Grace wrote about the group chat. Discovering it by accident. Someone screen sharing and forgetting to close their messages. Seeing it. The team chat. Everyone in it. Everyone except her. 2 years of happy hours and birthday plans and inside jokes. Nobody thought to include her. She wrote about last week. The client meeting. Client asked Brad a technical question. Brad froze. Didn't know the answer. Hadn't built the models. Grace had. Grace stood. Walked to the front. Answered. Clear. Confident. Correct. Client was impressed. Why wasn't she presenting? Diane smiled. Professional. Cold. We like to give junior team members presentation experience. She's senior staff. Says so right here in the materials. Room went quiet. Brad's face turned red. 3 days later, Hour called Grace in. Grace looked at her screen. 2 hours had passed. 4,000 words. 5 years of silence breaking. She wrote about the fear. The constant fear of work visas. One complaint. One wrong move. One moment of being too much. Could end everything. Send her back to Nigeria. Back as a failure. She wrote about her mother. Selling family land to pay for Grace's education. The pride when she told neighbors. The money Grace sent home. Never enough but all she could spare. She wrote about today. Diane's face. The word uncomfortable. How speaking up made her threatening. How competence became aggression. How doing her job well was somehow wrong. She wrote about Brad's smile. About the elevator silence. About walking out knowing she'd never walk back in. Then the ending. I came here legally. Followed every rule. Earned every credential. Worked harder than anyone. It didn't matter. They saw black skin. That made me invisible. Disposable. Nothing. Grace read it back. All of it. Created a Medium account. Uploaded. Hovered over publish. If she published, no going back. They'd call it defamation. Violated NDA. Make sure nobody hired her. Her visa would expire. She'd leave America. But if she didn't, nobody would know. Brad would keep stealing. Diane would keep erasing. They'd hire more women like Grace. Use them. Break them. Throw them away. Grace thought about the security guard. Her mother's text. 5 years trying to be small enough. Quiet enough. Acceptable enough. She clicked publish. 7:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. Closed her laptop. Sat in darkness. Phone buzzed. Email notification. Someone read it. Another. Another. Hour later, 50 readers. 2 hours, 500. Midnight, 5,000. Grace sat on her couch. Held her phone. Should she call her mother? Had she just destroyed everything or finally started to exist? Phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. Grace, a dimey woman's voice. Warm. Yes. Rosa Martinez. I work at Henderson. Night janitor. 12 years. Grace sat up. How did you get my number? Your article. Everyone's reading it. Grace, listen. You're not the only one. 7 black women in 5 years. Same pattern. Hire, use, break, throw away. 7 I'm invisible too. But invisible means I see everything. Clean their offices. Hear conversations. See papers on desks. Grace, I have proof. Emails. Documents. Photos. Why tell me silence? Then I have 4 daughters. All black. I want them in a world where they don't have to be invisible. You just opened everything. Don't stop now. They fired me. My visa expires in 5 months, then burn it down before you go. Make them pay. Make everyone know. Grace's hands shook. Not from fear this time. What proof? Everything. Been collecting for years. Didn't know what to do with it. Now I do. Can we meet? Grace looked at her laptop. View count climbing. 15,000. Comments pouring in. This is my life. I've seen this happen. This is illegal. Something building. Bigger than Grace. Bigger than Henderson. Bigger than one story. Yes, Grace said. We can meet. Hung up. Opened laptop. Comments exploded. Hundreds. Thousands. Sharing. Supporting. Angry. One comment: I'm a lawyer. Employment discrimination. Pro bono. Another journalist here. I'd like to interview you. Another worked at Henderson 3 years ago. Same thing happened. Thought I was alone. Grace read until her eyes burned. Phone kept buzzing. Calls. Emails. Messages. 2 a.m. Mother called. Grace answered. Grace, I saw your article. Everyone in Lagos is reading it. Are you okay? Grace cried. Different tears. Not broken. No mama. Not okay. But not invisible anymore. Long silence. Then her mother said, you know what a dime means. Crown befits me. The crown is mine. You just put it back on. Don't take it off. Grace hung up. Sat in silence. Outside Dallas slept. Inside her world burned. Article shared 20,000 times. Comments still coming. People tagging Henderson. Screenshots on Twitter. Hashtag IZGrace. 300 new emails. Job offers. Interviews. Media. Legal support. One from Diane. Subject: cease and desist. Grace opened it. Legal threats. Confidentiality violations. Defamation. Lawsuit pending. Grace almost laughed. Making her invisible again. But 50,000 people read her story. Still reading. Still sharing. Still witnessing. She replied 2 words: see you. Started reading other messages. The lawyer. The journalist. Rosa's contact. Other Henderson employees ready to talk. Grace spent the night building. Not a legal case. A public case. Truth and testimony and voices of erased women. Sun came up. Grace had a plan. Not safe. Not smart. Would destroy her chances of staying. But it would make them see her. Sometimes being seen is worth everything you lose. She stood. Walked to her window. Pink sky. New day. Maybe her last in America. Maybe beginning of something else. Phone buzzed. Rosa, coffee at 9 a.m. I'm bringing the files. Grace, I'll be there. She showered. Put on jeans and t-shirt. No more business clothes. No performing. No code switching. No making herself small. Looked in the mirror. Saw a woman invisible for 5 years. Legally present but socially erased. Worked harder. Got no credit. But also saw something else. A woman who spoke. Who chose dignity. Who set everything on fire because burning beat fading. Grace smiled. Felt strange. Hadn't smiled in months. They see you now, she whispered. Make sure they never forget. Grabbed her laptop. Her phone. Walked out. Rosa waiting with evidence. Journalist waiting with questions. Lawyer waiting with strategy. Henderson Corporate Solutions about to learn something. Making a black woman invisible doesn't make her powerless. It makes her dangerous. The coffee shop was half empty. Rosa sat in the corner booth. Small woman. 50-something. Tired eyes. 3 manila folders on the table. Grace slid into the seat across from her. You came, Rosa said. You have proof. I need to see it. Rosa pushed the first folder across. Start with this. Grace opened it. Email printouts. Dozens. Her hands went cold. From Diane Morrison. To Brad Hutchins, Mark Chen. Subject: the Grace situation. Grace read out loud. Need to discuss Grace's future here. Not fitting company culture. Clients have complained. Thinking about not renewing contract when visa comes up. Thoughts. Rosa nodded. Keep reading. From Brad. Agreed. She's difficult. Plus we can hire entry level for half the cost. From Mark. Makes sense. Visa's up in 8 months anyway. Grace looked up. Her voice shook. They planned this 8 months ago. There's more. Second folder. Performance reviews. Not just Grace's. 7 other women. All black. All rated meets expectations despite exceeding metrics. All with notes about cultural fit and communication style. Keisha Williams. Left 2018. Michelle Johnson. Left 2019. Aisha Okonkwo. Left 2020. Rosa tapped each file. Same pattern. Hire for diversity. Work them hard. Steal their work. Push them out. Grace's coffee went cold. She couldn't drink it. How did you get these? Diane prints everything. Leaves folders on her desk. Thinks the cleaning lady can't read. Rosa smiled. Bitter. I can read just fine. Grace pulled out her phone. I'm photographing all of this. Already did. Everything's on this drive. Rosa slid a USB across the table. Emails. Performance reviews. Salary data showing pay gaps. Photos of Brad's notes where he literally wrote take credit for G's analysis. He wrote it down. People get comfortable. Think nobody's watching. Rosa leaned forward. Grace, this isn't just about you. This is systematic. They have a formula. Grace's phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. This is Jennifer Park, journalist at Dallas Morning News. Can we talk? Another text. Grace Adime, this is Marcus Williams from Channel 8. We'd like to feature your story. Another. Immigration attorney here. I can help with your visa situation. It's starting, Grace said. Rosa looked at her phone. What's starting everything? Grace showed her the texts. My article hit 60,000 views. People are sharing it. Media wants interviews. Are you going to do them? Grace stared at the folders. At years of evidence. At proof that she wasn't crazy. Wasn't too sensitive. Wasn't imagining it. Yes. All of them. Her phone rang. She answered. Grace, it's Keisha. Keisha Williams. We met once at a company event. I left Henderson in 2018. Grace put it on speaker. I remember. I read your article. Grace, I'm crying. I thought I was the only one. I thought something was wrong with me. You're in Rosa's files. Same thing happened to you. Keisha's voice broke. They told me I wasn't a team player. That I was too aggressive in meetings. That clients preferred working with Brad. I started therapy. Thought I was failing. Then I quit before they could fire me. Will you go on record? Grace asked. Tell your story. Long pause. My visa's permanent now. I'm safe. Yes. I'll go on record. Grace hung up. Looked at Rosa. How many others can we find? All 7. I have their contact info. Been keeping track. Rosa pulled out a list. Names. Emails. Phone numbers. Been waiting for someone brave enough to do something. Grace's hands weren't shaking anymore. They were steady. Start calling them. Tell them we're building a case. Not legal. Public. Tell them media wants to talk. Rosa nodded. Started texting. Grace's phone rang again. Different number. Ms. Adime, this is David Chen. I'm with the EEOC. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. We've received your article and several complaints about Henderson Corporate Solutions. We'd like to open an investigation. Grace almost dropped her phone. An investigation. Multiple former employees have contacted us this morning. All with similar allegations. Pattern discrimination. This is serious. How long does an investigation take? Months. Maybe years. But it's starting. Today. Grace hung up. Looked at Rosa. The EEOC is investigating. Rosa's eyes went wide. Because of your article, because of all of us. Grace's phone wouldn't stop. Texts. Emails. Calls. Other former employees. Media requests. Support messages. And then one that made her stop. From Brad Hutchins. Subject: we need to talk. She opened it. Grace, you need to take down that article. You violated your NDA. You're making false accusations. If you don't remove it by 5 p.m., we're suing you for defamation. This is your only warning. Grace showed Rosa. Are you going to take it down? Number. Grace started typing a response. Stopped. Actually, I'm going to do something better. She opened Twitter. Created an account. Posted Brad's email. Added caption: this is what happens when you tell the truth about racism in the workplace. They threaten you. Hit tweet. Within minutes 100 retweets. Within an hour 1,000. People were tagging Henderson. Tagging Brad. Screenshotting his email and sharing it everywhere. Someone found Brad's LinkedIn. Started commenting on all his posts. Is this the guy who steals black women's work? Grace watched it spread. Watched the internet do what the internet does. Turn a spotlight on something companies wanted hidden. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Hello, Grace. Diane's voice. Cold. Sharp. What the hell do you think you're doing? I think it's called telling the truth. You signed an NDA. You agreed not to disparage the company. You're in breach of contract. NDAs don't cover illegal activity. Discrimination is illegal. We never discriminated against you. You're making false allegations that could destroy this company. Grace laughed. Actually laughed. I'm making false allegations, Diane. I have the emails. The ones where you and Brad planned to let my visa expire. The ones where you discussed hiring someone cheaper. I have performance reviews showing you rated me meets expectations while I exceeded every metric. I have everything. Silence on the other end. How did you? Doesn't matter. What matters is everyone's going to see it. The EEOC. The media. Every potential employee. Every client. Everyone. Grace, listen to me. If you stop this now, we can negotiate. Severance package. Good references. Help with your visa situation. You're bribing me. I'm offering you a way out. The way out is forward. Through you. Through this company. Through every system that let this happen. You're destroying your career. You already did that. Grace hung up. Rosa was staring at her. That was ballsy. That was necessary. Grace's phone rang immediately. Different number. Is this Grace Adime? Yes. This is Sarah Chen from your old team. I need to tell you something. Diane just called an emergency meeting. She told us we're not allowed to talk to you. That you're under investigation for violating company policy. That anything you said in your article is lies. Why are you telling me this? Sarah's voice dropped. Because I was there. I saw what they did to you. I didn't say anything. I'm sorry. I was a coward. You're talking now. I want to help. I have emails too. Things I saved. Things that show what really happened. Grace's heart pounded. Send them to me. Everything. If they find out, they're going to find out anyway. Sarah, this is bigger than any of us now. Sarah hung up. 2 minutes later, emails started coming through. Forwarded messages. Screenshots. Proof from inside the company. Grace looked at Rosa. We have an inside source. This is really happening, Rosa said. This is really happening. Grace spent the next hour coordinating. Called the EEOC back. Sent them evidence. Called the journalist. Scheduled an interview. Called the lawyer. Discussed strategy. Rosa called the other former employees. One by one they agreed to talk. Michelle, I'll do an interview. They made me feel like I was crazy. Aisha, I have documentation too. Saved everything. Jennifer, I'm in. Whatever you need. By noon, Grace had 7 former employees ready to go on record. A federal investigation opening. 3 media interviews scheduled. And a legal team offering pro bono representation. Her phone rang. Mother. Mama, I can't talk right now, Grace Adime. Her mother's voice. Firm. I spoke to your uncle. He's a lawyer in Lagos. He says what you're doing is dangerous. That you could lose everything. I already lost everything. Your visa. Your career. Your future in America. Mama, they were going to take all that anyway. At least this way I'm fighting. Silence. Then your father would be proud. Grace's eyes burned. Father died when she was 12. You think so? He always said the crown fits those brave enough to wear it. You're wearing yours. Her mother's voice softened. Be careful, my daughter. But be brave. Grace hung up. Wiped her eyes. Rosa was watching her. Your mother, she's scared. Are you? Grace thought about it. Terrified. But I'm not stopping. Her phone buzzed. Text from Jennifer Park, the journalist. Grace, heads up. Henderson just released a statement. They're denying everything. Calling you a disgruntled former employee. Saying you were terminated for performance issues. Grace pulled up Henderson's website. There it was. Official statement. Henderson Corporate Solutions is aware of false allegations made by a former employee. We take diversity and inclusion seriously. This individual was terminated due to documented performance concerns and policy violations. We stand by our decision and will vigorously defend against any defamatory claims. Grace read it twice. Then shared it on Twitter. Added caption, they're calling me a liar. Tomorrow 7 other women will tell their stories. Stay tuned. Rosa leaned over. Read it. You're poking the bear. Good. Let it wake up. Grace's article hit 100,000 views. The hashtag #IZGrace was trending in Dallas. Someone created a website. istandwithgrace.com. Posted resources for workplace discrimination. Contact info for EEOC. Links to Grace's article. Companies started getting tagged. Does your company do this? How many Graces are invisible in your workplace? Grace watched it grow. Watched it become something bigger than her story. Watched it become a movement. Her phone rang. Number she recognized. Her old coworker Mark. She answered. Mark. Grace, I'm sorry. I should have said something. I saw what they did. I was there in meetings where Brad took credit for your work. I said nothing. Why are you calling? Because I can't sleep. Because my daughter's black. Because I'm looking at her and thinking about what you went through and I'm ashamed. Grace didn't know what to say. I'm going to HR tomorrow. I'm telling them everything I saw. I'm going on record. Mark, you'll lose your job. Then I lose it. But I won't lose myself. He hung up. Rosa looked at her. What was that? One of my old coworkers. He's going to HR. Telling them everything. From inside the company. From inside the company. Grace's hands shook again. Not from fear. From something else. Power. Momentum. The feeling that something was breaking. Something big. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Grace Adimi. Yes. This is Rachel Morrison. I'm Diane's daughter. Grace sat up straight. What? I read your article. I needed to call. My mom's been crying all morning. She says you're destroying her career. But Grace, I believe you. I'm a black woman too. I know what you went through. Diane's daughter is black. She remarried. My dad's black. I'm her stepdaughter. And I've heard her on work calls. I've heard how she talks about diversity hires. How she complains about sensitivity. I've tried to talk to her. She doesn't listen. Why are you telling me this? Because someone needs to. Because this has to stop. Because I'm tired of watching my mom be part of the problem. Rachel hung up. Grace stared at her phone. What? Rosa asked. Diane's stepdaughter just called. She's black. She believes me. Oh my God. This is getting complicated. No. Rosa shook her head. This is getting real. Grace's phone wouldn't stop. More messages. More calls. More support. More threats. Anonymous email. You're a diversity hire who couldn't cut it. Stop playing victim. Another. I hope they deport you. Another. You're destroying a good company because you're bitter. But for every hateful message, 10 supportive ones. Thank you for speaking up. This happened to me too. You're not alone. Keep fighting. Grace read them all. The hate. The support. The threats. The encouragement. Rosa touched her hand. You okay? Number. But I'm doing it anyway. By evening, Grace had done 2 interviews. One with Dallas Morning News. One with Channel 8. Both airing tomorrow. The EEOC confirmed their investigation. 7 former employees ready to testify. 1 current employee willing to go on record. Henderson's stock dropped 2%. Someone started a petition demanding leadership changes. 5,000 signatures in 6 hours. Grace sat in her apartment. Laptop open. Watching it all unfold. Her phone rang one more time. Grace, it's James Patterson. I'm the CEO of Henderson Corporate Solutions. Grace's breath caught. The CEO. Calling her directly. I'm listening. I want to resolve this. Privately. Before it gets worse. It's already worse. I'm prepared to offer you a substantial settlement. Full severance. Reference letter. Help with visa sponsorship at another company. In exchange for retracting your article and signing a comprehensive NDA. How much? $200,000. Grace was silent. That's more than 2 years' salary, Patterson said. Take the money. Move on. Put this behind you. Grace thought about her mother. About the visa expiring. About starting over. About $200,000. No. Excuse me, I said no. Ms. Adimi, be reasonable. This is a generous offer. You think this is about money? You think you can buy my silence? I'm trying to help you. You're trying to protect yourself. Your company. Your reputation. If you reject this, we'll fight you. We have resources. Lawyers. We'll make sure you never work in this industry again. You already did that. The moment you let them erase me. Grace, my name is Grace Adimi. Not a diversity hire. Not a difficult employee. Not a former worker. Grace Adimi. Remember it. Because everyone else will. She hung up. Rosa was watching her. Eyes wide. Did you just turn down $200,000? Yes. Are you insane? Probably. Grace smiled. But I'm not invisible anymore. Her phone buzzed. Text from Jennifer Park. Grace Henderson CEO just released another statement. Says they tried to settle with you. That you refused. That this proves you're only interested in damaging the company. Grace read Patterson's new statement, painting her as vengeful, unreasonable, money-hungry. She took a screenshot, posted it. Henderson offered me $200,000 to be silent. I said no. This isn't about money. It's about accountability. It's about every black woman they've erased. Tomorrow the truth comes out. Within minutes, thousands of shares. People were angry. At Henderson. At Patterson. At the attempt to buy silence. More companies got dragged in. How much do you pay to hide discrimination? The conversation was shifting. This wasn't just about Grace anymore. It was about systemic racism. About power. About how companies use money and threats to maintain the status quo. Grace watched the sun set through her apartment window. 24 hours ago she'd been fired. Erased. Invisible. Now she was everywhere. Her article at 200,000 views. 7 women ready to speak. Federal investigation launched. Media coverage exploding. And Henderson Corporate Solutions in full crisis mode. Rosa started packing up the folders. What happens tomorrow? Tomorrow the interviews air. My face on TV. My story in the newspaper. No going back. Are you ready? Grace thought about 5 years of silence. Of being small. Of accepting invisibility. I've been ready for 5 years. I just didn't know it yet. Rosa hugged her. First time they'd touched. Thank you. For doing this. For all of us. Thank you for the evidence. For seeing me when nobody else did. Rosa left. Grace sat alone in her apartment. Phone still buzzing. Still ringing. Still demanding her attention. She turned it off. Just for a moment. Just to breathe. Tomorrow everything would change again. Tomorrow she'd be public. Her face. Her name. Her story. No anonymity. No protection. No going back. But tonight she had this. The quiet. The knowledge that she'd spoken. That she'd fought. That she'd chosen visibility over safety. Grace looked at her reflection in the dark window. They see you now, she whispered. And they're never going to forget. Grace woke up at 5 a.m. Hadn't really slept. Just closed her eyes and waited for morning. Her phone had 17 missed calls. 43 texts. 100+ emails. The interviews aired in 3 hours. She made coffee. Hands still steady. That surprised her. Phone rang. Jennifer Park, the journalist. Grace, you awake? Yeah. Good. Your interview's the front page. Above the fold. They're running it with photos. Your face. Diane's face. The Henderson building. Grace's stomach dropped. My face. You agreed to go public. This is public. I know. I just having second thoughts. Grace looked at her reflection in the microwave door. Exhausted. Scared. But still here. No. No second thoughts. Good. Because Channel 8 just told me their segment is leading the morning news. 6 a.m. They're promoting it as corporate racism exposed. Jesus. Grace, this is big. Really big. Are you ready? Does it matter? Jennifer laughed. Sad laugh. No. I guess it doesn't. 6 a.m. came fast. Grace sat on her couch. Laptop open. TV on. Phone in her hand. Channel 8 News started. Good morning, Dallas. Our top story: a former corporate analyst claims systematic racism forced her from her job. Tonight you'll hear her story. But first, this warning from Henderson Corporate Solutions has sparked outrage online. They showed screenshots of the CEO's statement, of Brad's threatening email, of Grace's Twitter responses. Then her face filled the screen. The interview she'd done yesterday. Her sitting across from the anchor. Looking tired. Looking real. Tell us what happened, the anchor said. I came to America 5 years ago. I had a work visa. A master's degree. I thought if I worked hard enough I'd succeed. I was wrong. Grace watched herself on TV. Heard her own voice. It sounded different. Stronger than she felt. They hired me for diversity. But they never saw me as equal. My work was stolen. My ideas ignored. When I finally spoke up, they fired me. The anchor leaned forward. You have proof of this? Emails. Performance reviews. 7 other women with identical stories. All black. All erased. They showed documents. Blurred names but clear evidence. The emails Rosa had collected. The pattern unmistakable. Grace's phone exploded. Text from her mother: I'm watching. All of Lagos is watching. I'm proud. Text from Keisha: I'm crying. Thank you for being brave. Text from Rosa: Channel 8 just called me. They want to interview me too. But also you're a liar and a fraud. And hope they deport you. And playing the race card: pathetic. Grace put the phone down. Picked it up. Put it down again. The segment ended. Cut to commercial. Grace sat in silence. Then her phone rang. Unknown number. Hello, is this Grace Adime? Man's voice. Angry. Who is this? You just destroyed my company. I've worked at Henderson for 15 years. Good people work there. You're ruining lives with your lies. I'm not lying, my wife is pregnant. If Henderson goes under, I lose my job. My insurance. Everything. You selfish bitch. He hung up. Grace stared at the phone. It rang again. Different number. Grace, don't listen to the haters. I'm a recruiter. I have 3 companies interested in sponsoring your visa. You're going to be okay. Thank you. But I need to be honest. Some companies are scared. Your name is controversial now. You might need to wait until this settles. How long? Months. Maybe longer. Grace hung up. Checked the calendar. Her visa expired in 4 months and 23 days. Her laptop pinged. Dallas Morning News article posted online. Big headline: Invisible Black Immigrant Claims Systematic Racism at Dallas Tech Firm. Below it, her face. Professional photo from her LinkedIn. Next to it, Diane's face. Next to that, the Henderson logo. Grace read the article. Quotes from her interview. Background on Henderson. Response from the company. Statements from employment lawyers calling it textbook discrimination. Comments section already filling up. This happens everywhere. Thank you for speaking. She's just bitter she got fired. I worked with her. She was always playing victim. Grace froze. Read that comment again. Username TechBra2024. I worked with her. She was always playing victim. Bad attitude. Poor team player. Company made the right call. Grace knew that voice. That phrasing. That was Brad. She screenshotted it. Posted it on Twitter. Henderson employees are in the comments anonymously attacking me. They're scared. They should be. 10 a.m. Her phone wouldn't stop. Text from Sarah, her former coworker. Grace, they're having an emergency all-hands meeting. Right now. They're telling everyone not to talk to media. Not to comment online. They're lawyering up hard. Are you in the meeting? Yes. I'm texting from the bathroom. What are they saying? That you violated your NDA. That you're making false claims for attention. That anyone who talks to media will be terminated immediately. Grace's heart pounded. Are they mentioning me by name over and over? Diane's up there basically calling you a liar. Brad's nodding along. It's disgusting. Record it if you can. I'll try. Grace paced her apartment. Energy burning through her. No outlet. Her phone rang. Number she didn't recognize, but area code was familiar. Lagos. Hello, Grace Adime. Woman's voice. Nigerian accent. Yes, my name is Dr. Amara Okafor. I'm a professor at University of Lagos. I teach about diaspora experiences. Your story has reached Nigeria. Everyone is talking about it. Everyone, news outlets. Social media. You're trending. Young women see you as a hero. But also. Dr. Okafor paused. Some people are saying you're embarrassing Nigeria. Making us look like complainers. Grace sat down. What? There's a conversation happening. About whether you should have stayed quiet. Whether speaking up makes things harder for other Nigerian immigrants. I stayed quiet for 5 years. I know. And I support you. I'm calling because I want to help. I have connections with organizations that support immigrants. With legal aid. With visa assistance. Thank you. But Grace, I need you to understand. You're not just fighting Henderson. You're fighting a system. And that system is designed to break people like us. I know. Do you? Because once you start this fight, you can't stop halfway. They'll destroy you if they can. They already tried. Not like this. Not yet. Dr. Okafor hung up. Grace stared at her phone. What did that mean? Not yet. 11 a.m. Article hit 300,000 views. Grace's Twitter followers jumped from 0 to 15,000 overnight. Someone created a GoFundMe. Support Grace Adime's legal fight. She didn't set it up. Didn't ask for it. But there it was. Already at $40,000. Grace didn't know whether to feel grateful or horrified. Her phone rang. The lawyer who'd offered pro bono help. Grace, it's Daniel Torres. We need to talk about strategy. Okay. Henderson filed for a temporary restraining order. They want you to stop talking to media. Stop posting on social media. Stop sharing company information. Can they do that? They're trying. Hearing is tomorrow. But Grace, there's something else. They're going after your visa. Grace's blood went cold. What? They contacted immigration. Claimed you violated your work authorization. That you engaged in activities outside your visa scope. It's bullshit, but they're making noise. Can they revoke my visa? Not easily. But they can make it complicated. Delay your renewals. Flag your applications. So I'm trapped. Not trapped. But cornered. Grace laughed. Bitter sound. What's the difference? The difference is you're still fighting. Noon hit. Grace's phone rang again. Michelle Johnson. One of the 7 women from Rose's files. Grace, I need to tell you something. I'm pulling out. What? I can't do the interview. I can't go on record. Michelle, why? They found me. Henderson's lawyers. They called my current employer. Told them I was involved in a lawsuit. I'm not involved in a lawsuit, but now my boss is asking questions. I can't risk my job. They can't do that. They just did. Grace, I'm sorry. I believe you. But I have 2 kids. I can't lose my income. I understand. Do you? Because I feel like shit. I understand, Grace repeated. Meant it. Michelle hung up. 30 seconds later, another call. Jennifer from the 7. Grace, I'm out too. They contacted my landlord. Said I was involved in illegal activities. My landlord's threatening eviction. Jesus. They're going after all of us. Warning us. Threatening us. How many are left? I don't know. But Grace, be careful. They're not playing. By 1 p.m. 5 of the 7 women had pulled out. Only Keisha and Aisha remained. Grace called Rosa. They're scaring everyone off. I know, Rosa said. They called my supervisor. Told him I was stealing company documents. I got written up. I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. Be angry. I'm both. Good. Use it. Grace hung up. Sat in silence. The net was tightening. Her phone pinged. Email from Diane. Subject: final warning. Grace's hands shook opening it. Grace, you have 24 hours to retract your statements and issue a public apology. If you don't, we will pursue every legal option. We will sue for defamation. We will go after your visa status. We will make sure you never work in this country again. This is not a negotiation. This is your last chance. Grace read it 3 times. Then she forwarded it to Daniel Torres. To Jennifer Park. To the EEOC investigator. To everyone. And she posted it on Twitter. Henderson is threatening to destroy my visa status unless I apologize for telling the truth. This is retaliation. This is witness intimidation. This is why women stay silent. The response was instant. Explosive. People tagged immigration services. Tagged labor boards. Tagged news outlets. This is illegal. Document everything. We see you, Grace. But also threats. So many threats. You're destroying a good company, you stupid bitch. Go back to Africa where you belong. Hope you get deported. Grace's hands wouldn't stop shaking now. 2 p.m. Her doorbell rang. She froze. Nobody knew her address. Nobody should be here. Looked through peephole. Man in suit. Holding papers. She opened the door. Chain still on. Grace Adime, yes, you've been served. He pushed papers through the gap. Grace took them. Her hands were ice. Henderson Corporate Solutions versus Grace Adime. Defamation. Breach of contract. Interference with business relations. Damages $5 million. $5 million. Grace closed the door. Slid down it. Sat on the floor. They were suing her for $5 million. Her phone rang. Daniel Torres. Grace, did they serve you? Yes. Okay. Don't panic. This is a SLAPP suit. Strategic lawsuit against public participation. They're trying to silence you with legal fees. $5 million, Daniel. They won't win. But the process is the punishment. They want you to give up. It's working. Grace, I don't have money for lawyers. I don't have time. My visa expires in 4 months. They're going to win. Not if we fight. With what hope? Daniel was quiet. Yes. With hope. And with truth. And with every person who believes you. Grace hung up. Put her head in her hands. Her phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. Grace, this is Rachel. Diane's stepdaughter. I need to see you. I have something you need to hear. What, not over text? Can you meet me? Grace shouldn't. She knew she shouldn't. Could be a trap. But she was drowning. Grasping at anything. Where park on Henderson Street? 30 minutes. Grace grabbed her keys. Drove. Hands shaking the whole way. Rachel was waiting. Young woman. Early 20s. Light brown skin. Diane's eyes. Grace approached carefully. What do you want to help? Rachel pulled out her phone. I live with my mom. I hear things. Conference calls she thinks I can't hear. Conversations with lawyers. And they're planning to go after your mother. Grace's blood froze. What they found out she helped pay for your education. They're claiming it was loan fraud. That you misrepresented your financial situation on your visa application. That's insane. I know. But they're building a case. They want to threaten deportation. Make you so scared you'll stop talking. Why are you telling me this? Rachel's eyes filled with tears. Because I'm ashamed. Of my mom. Of what she's doing. I tried to talk to her. She said you're destroying innocent people's lives. That you're vengeful. That everything would have been fine if you'd just stayed quiet. Staying quiet was killing me. I know. Rachel wiped her eyes. I recorded her. Last night. Conference call with the legal team. She doesn't know I have it. Rachel held up her phone. Pressed play. Diane's voice came through. Tinny but clear. We need to go nuclear. Find everything on Grace. Her mother. Her education. Her past. If there's anything questionable, we use it. We make her an example. Another voice. Male. Probably a lawyer. We could face counterclaims. Retaliation charges. I don't care. She's destroying this company. We destroy her first. The recording stopped. Grace couldn't breathe. Send that to me, she whispered. Already did. Check your email. Grace looked at Rachel. This woman who barely knew her. Who was betraying her own mother. Why? Because someone has to stop this. Because I can't watch my mom become this person. Rachel stood. Use it. End this. She walked away. Grace sat in her car. Opened her email. There it was. Audio file. She called Daniel. I have a recording. Diane Morrison discussing plans to target my family. To intimidate me into silence. Send it now. Grace forwarded it. Then sent it to Jennifer Park. To the EEOC. To everyone. Her phone rang immediately. Jennifer. Grace, this is huge. This is witness intimidation. This is conspiracy. Can I publish this? Yes. Publish everything. They're going to come after you harder. Let them. I'm done being scared. 3 p.m. Jennifer's article went live. Audio recording reveals corporate intimidation campaign. Henderson executive caught plotting against whistleblower. The audio was embedded. Anyone could listen. Diane's voice. Her words. Her plans. The internet exploded. Within an hour, trending nationwide. Not just Dallas. Everywhere. Within 2 hours, other women started coming forward. Not just from Henderson. From other companies. Similar stories. Stolen work. Harassment. Erasure. Within 3 hours, Henderson's stock dropped 8%. Grace watched it unfold. Watched the firestorm she'd started. Her phone rang. Number she knew. Diane. Grace answered. Said nothing. You, Diane's voice. Shaking with rage. You had my daughter spy on me. I didn't ask her to. She betrayed me. Her own mother. No. You betrayed yourself. I'm going to destroy you. Not the company. Me. Personally. I'm going to make sure you lose everything. You already tried. I'm still here. For now. Diane hung up. Grace put the phone down. 4 p.m. Her mother called. Grace, people are coming to the house. Reporters. From Nigerian news. They want to talk to me. Don't talk to them, Mama. Why not? You're talking. They might twist your words. Use them against me. Let them try. I'm your mother. I'll say what I want. Grace heard pride in her voice. Fierce. Unbreakable. Mama Grace Adime. You think I'm afraid of American lawyers? I raised you alone. I sold everything to give you opportunities. You think I'm going to hide now? They might come after you. Let them come. I'm not going anywhere. Her mother hung up. Grace sat in her apartment. Everything was burning. Her career, her visa, her future, her safety. But she wasn't invisible anymore. 5 p.m. Email from the EEOC. Ms. Adeyemi, based on the evidence provided including audio recordings, we are escalating this investigation. We will be conducting interviews with current and former Henderson employees. We will be subpoenaing documents. This is now a federal priority case. Federal priority. Grace's phone rang. CEO Patterson. She answered. You win. His voice was defeated. Diane Morrison is on administrative leave. Brad Hutchins is terminated. We're bringing in outside investigators. We'll settle. Just tell me what you want. I want you to admit it. Publicly. What you did to me. To all of us. I can't do that. Legal won't allow, then we don't have a deal. Grace, be reasonable. We're offering you everything. Money. References. Visa help. I don't want your money. I want the truth. The truth will destroy this company. Good. She hung up. Sat in silence. Her phone buzzed. Text from Rosa. 7 more women contacted me. From other companies. They have stories. They want to talk. Then Keisha, I'm back in. I'll do the interview. My employer said they support me. Then Sarah, I'm going to HR tomorrow. Formal complaint. I'm ready. Then Mark filed my statement. Told them everything. Whatever happens, happens. Grace watched the messages come. One after another. People finding courage. People speaking up. People refusing to be invisible. Her phone rang one more time. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Hello, Ms. Adeyemi, this is Congresswoman Angela Martinez. I'm calling because I want to introduce legislation. The Grace Adeyemi Workplace Protection Act. It would protect immigrant whistleblowers from visa retaliation. Would you be willing to testify before Congress? Grace couldn't speak. Ms. Adeyemi, yes. Yes, I'll testify. She hung up. Stared at her phone. 3 days ago she'd been fired. Erased. Nobody. Now Congress wanted her to testify. Grace walked to her window. Watched the sun setting over Dallas. This city that had never felt like home. This country that had never wanted her. But something was shifting. Something was breaking. Something was changing. Her phone buzzed one last time. Text from her mother. I gave an interview. To BBC. I told them about my daughter. The brave one. The one who won't stay silent. The one wearing her crown. Grace smiled. First real smile in days. Tomorrow would bring more threats. More legal battles. More retaliation. But tonight she had this. The knowledge that she'd sparked something. That invisible women were becoming visible. That silence was breaking. Grace whispered to her reflection, they see us now. And for the first time in 5 years she believed it. Grace woke up to pounding on her door. 6 a.m. She grabbed her phone. Checked the peephole. 2 federal agents. Badges visible. Her heart stopped. She opened the door. Chain still on. Grace Adeyemi, yes. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. We need to talk to you about your visa status. Grace's hands went cold. I have a lawyer. Call them. But we're not leaving. She closed the door. Called Daniel. He answered on first ring. Grace, ICE is at my door. Don't say anything. I'm coming. 20 minutes. I don't have 20 minutes. Then record everything. Don't sign anything. Grace opened the door. Let them in. Started recording on her phone. This is being recorded, she said. The first agent nodded. That's fine. Ms. Adeyemi, we received a complaint about your visa status. Claims you've engaged in unauthorized employment activities. I was fired 3 days ago. I haven't worked since. The complaint alleges you've been compensating yourself through online fundraising. That constitutes work. Grace's breath caught. The GoFundMe. Someone reported the GoFundMe. I didn't set that up. I didn't ask for it. But you're receiving funds. I haven't touched that money. Have you accessed the account number? I don't even have the login. The second agent spoke. Softer. Ms. Adeyemi, we're not here to arrest you. We're investigating. But you need to be careful. Your visa expires soon. Any violations could affect renewal. This is retaliation. Henderson Corporate Solutions is behind this. We investigate all complaints equally. Equally. Grace laughed. Bitter sound. How many white executives get ICE visits? The first agent's face hardened. We're done here. Watch your status. Any violations we'll know. They left. Grace closed the door, slid down it, sat on the floor. Her phone rang. Daniel. What happened? They're investigating me for the GoFundMe. Someone reported it as unauthorized work. That's bullshit. You didn't set it up. You haven't accessed it. Doesn't matter. They're building a case. Looking for any excuse. Grace, we need to shut that GoFundMe down. Now. People donated $40,000 to help me. And it's being used to destroy you. Shut it down. Grace hung up. Opened her laptop. Found the GoFundMe. Started by someone named Dallas Supports Grace. Anonymous. She messaged them. Please shut this down. It's being used against me. Response came immediately. Already done. Funds returned to donors. I'm sorry. Grace stared at the screen. $40,000. Gone. Money that could have helped with lawyers. With visa fees. With surviving. Gone. Her phone rang. Jennifer Park. Grace Henderson just filed another motion. They're requesting a gag order. Saying your public statements are prejudicing potential legal proceedings. Can they do that? They're trying. Hearing is this afternoon. 2 p.m. Grace checked the time. 8 hours. I'll be there. Grace, if they get the gag order, you can't talk to media. Can't post on social media. Can't do the congressional testimony. They won't get it. They might. Judge Morrison is hearing the case. Morrison. Grace's stomach dropped. Any relation to Diane? Brother. Jesus Christ. We're filing for recusal. But it takes time. Grace hung up. Put her head in her hands. Her phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. This is what happens to troublemakers. We know where you live. We know where your mother lives. Stop now or face consequences. Grace screenshot it. Sent it to Daniel. To the police. To everyone. Then another text. Your apartment is 2B right, nice view. Someone was watching her. Grace stood. Went to the window. Looked down at the parking lot. White van parked across the street. Tinted windows. She closed the blinds. Called Daniel. Someone's threatening me. They know where I live. Police already sent them the texts. Daniel, this is getting dangerous. I know. Stay inside. Don't open the door for anyone. I have the hearing at 2. I'll pick you up. Don't leave alone. 9 a.m. Grace's phone exploded. News alert: Henderson CEO James Patterson resigns amid scandal. Grace read the article. Patterson stepping down. Board accepting resignation. Interim CEO appointed. But buried in the article, sources say Patterson received death threats from activists supporting Grace Adimi. Grace's blood ran cold. She didn't send death threats. Never would. But someone claiming to support her did. Her phone rang. Blocked number. She answered. Grace Adimi, who is this journalist from National News Network. We're running a story about extremist activists targeting Henderson executives. Any comment? I never threatened anyone. But people acting in your name did. Do you condemn their actions? Of course I condemn violence. So you admit your campaign has inspired violence? Grace hung up. Hands shaking. They were twisting it. Making her the villain. Making supporters look like terrorists. Her phone rang again. Rosa. Grace, they fired me. What they said, I stole company property. The documents I gave you. They're pressing charges. Theft. Unauthorized access to confidential information. Rosa, I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. I knew this would happen. Rosa's voice was steady. Strong. But Grace, you need to know something. They're coming for everyone. Keisha got a letter from her employer. They're reconsidering her employment. Aisha's landlord is evicting her. Mark got suspended from work pending investigation. They're destroying everyone who helped me. Yes. And they're not going to stop. 10 a.m. Daniel arrived. Drove Grace to the courthouse. There are protesters, he said. Supporting me some. But also counter-protesters. People saying you're destroying American jobs. That immigrants need to stay in their place. Grace looked out the window. Saw them. 2 groups. Separated by police barricades. One side justice for Grace. Black Lives Matter. Immigrant rights. Other side Henderson employs thousands. Stop the witch hunt. America first. Grace couldn't breathe. Daniel, I just wanted to tell the truth. I know. But truth is messy. It makes people uncomfortable. They're taking sides. They entered through the back. Avoided crowds. But Grace heard them, chanting, screaming, her name over and over. She felt sick. Courtroom packed. Media, lawyers, observers. Grace sat next to Daniel Henderson's legal team across the aisle. 12 lawyers. Expensive suits. Cold eyes. Judge Morrison entered. Diane's brother. Same jawline. Same calculating look. All rise. Everyone stood. The hearing started. Henderson's lead lawyer stood. Your Honor, Ms. Adimi's continued public statements are poisoning any potential jury pool. She's conducting a trial in the media. We request a comprehensive gag order prohibiting any public discussion of this case. Daniel stood. Your Honor, Ms. Adimi is exercising her First Amendment right to speak about workplace discrimination. Henderson is attempting to silence a whistleblower. She's not a whistleblower, Henderson's lawyer snapped. She's a disgruntled former employee making false allegations. False. We have recordings, documents, 7 corroborating witnesses, 5 of whom have recanted. Grace's head snapped up. What? Henderson's lawyer smiled. 5 former employees who initially supported Ms. Adimi have now signed affidavits saying they were pressured into making statements. That Ms. Adimi and her representatives coerced them. That's a lie, Grace whispered. Daniel put a hand on her arm. Stood. Your Honor, these alleged affidavits are evidence of witness intimidation by Henderson, not by my client. Do you have proof of intimidation? We have. Judge Morrison held up a hand. I've heard enough. Ms. Adimi's campaign has spiraled into harassment, threats, and potential violence. I'm issuing a temporary gag order. Effective immediately. Ms. Adimi is prohibited from making public statements about Henderson Corporate Solutions, its employees, or related matters until this case is resolved. Your Honor, this violates my ruling. Stands. Violation will result in contempt charges and potential jail time. Court dismissed. The gavel came down. Grace sat frozen. Daniel leaned in. We'll appeal. This won't stand. When? How long? Weeks. Maybe months. Grace stood. Walked out. Pushed through the crowd. Reporters swarmed. Grace, comment on the gag order. Do you condemn the death threats? Are you planning to leave the country? Grace kept walking. Got to Daniel's car. Her phone rang. Congresswoman Martinez. Grace, I heard about the gag order. I'm sorry. We'll have to postpone the testimony. For how long? Until this is resolved. We can't have you testify while under gag order. It complicates things legally. So they win. Not win. Delay. There's a difference. Feels the same. Grace hung up. Daniel drove in silence. Then where do you want to go? I don't know. Anywhere but here. Grace, they're winning. Daniel. They silenced me. They scared off witnesses. They're pressing charges against Rosa. They sicked ice on me. They're winning. Not yet. They're not. How can you say that? Because you're still here. Still fighting. Grace laughed. Broken sound. For what? I can't talk. Can't testify. Can't post. My visa expires in 4 months. I have no job. No prospects. What am I fighting for? Daniel pulled over. Looked at her. You're fighting because 12 more women contacted Rosa yesterday. Because hashtags are trending. Because Congress is writing legislation with your name on it. Because something broke open that can't be closed again. But I'm going to lose everything. Maybe. But you changed something. That matters. Grace's phone buzzed. Text from her mother. The BBC interview aired. Your face is everywhere in Nigeria. Young girls are asking their parents about you. About fighting. About speaking up. You're a symbol, Grace. Don't give up now. Grace stared at the text. Her phone buzzed again. Rosa. Grace, I have something. Meet me at my house. It's important. Rosa, they fired you. They're pressing charges. You shouldn't. I found something. Something big. You need to see it. Grace looked at Daniel. Rosa wants to meet. Is it safe? I don't know. But I'm going. They drove to Rosa's house. Small place. Working class neighborhood. Rosa waited on the porch. She wasn't alone. Diane Morrison stood next to her. Grace's breath caught. What the hell? Daniel put a hand on his gun. He'd started carrying one last week. Diane held up her hands. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to talk. I have nothing to say to you. Then listen. Diane's voice cracked. They're going to destroy my daughter. Grace stopped. What? Rachel? My stepdaughter. Henderson found out she gave you that recording. They're threatening to prosecute her. Unauthorized recording. Theft of proprietary information. They could send her to jail. She's your daughter. Protect her. I tried. They won't listen. The board wants blood. They want to make examples. Of Rachel. Of Rosa. Of you. Why are you telling me this? Diane looked at the ground. Because I'm ashamed. Of what I did. What I became. I told myself I was just doing my job. Being professional. But I was protecting a system that hurt people. You think an apology fixes this number. But this might. Diane pulled out a USB drive. Everything. Every email I ever sent. Every meeting I attended. Every decision I made to undermine you and the others. Every conversation where we discussed getting rid of black employees because they were difficult. All of it. Grace stared at the drive. Why now? Because they're going after my daughter. And I realized I'd rather destroy my career than let them hurt her. Diane's eyes filled. I can't undo what I did to you. But I can stop them from doing it to anyone else. Grace took the drive. Looked at Rosa. This is real. I saw it. It's everything. Diane's the VP. She was in every meeting. She has access to board communications. This is the smoking gun. Grace looked at Diane. This woman who'd erased her. Who'd fired her. Who'd tried to destroy her. If I use this, you're done. You'll never work again. I know. You'll lose everything. I already lost the only thing that matters. My daughter's respect. Grace held the drive. Felt its weight. Her phone rang. Daniel answered. Listened. His face went white. Grace, you need to hear this. He put it on speaker. Immigration official. Ms. Adimi, we're calling to inform you that your visa renewal application has been flagged for extensive review. This could take 6 to 8 months. You'll need to remain in the country but cannot work during this time. 8 months. My visa expires in 4. You can apply for an extension. But there's no guarantee. So I'm trapped here. Can't work. Can't leave. Just waiting. Those are the terms. We'll be in touch. The call ended. Grace stood in Rosa's yard. Holding a drive that could destroy Henderson. But she couldn't work. Couldn't earn money. Couldn't survive. Her phone rang again. Keisha. Grace, I'm sorry. I signed their affidavit. They threatened my job. My kids' health insurance. I couldn't risk it. I understand. I'm a coward. You're a mother. There's a difference. Keisha hung up. Then Aisha called. Same story. Then Michelle. Then Jennifer. One by one her witnesses disappeared. By evening Grace sat alone with Rosa, Daniel and Diane. We have the evidence, Daniel said. We can still fight. With what witnesses are gone. I'm gagged. My visa's in limbo. We have Diane's testimony. Everyone looked at Diane. I'll testify, she said. To everything. I'll burn it all down if you want. Grace looked at her. Why now? Because I looked at my daughter's face and saw what I'd become. Someone who protected power over people. Who chose career over conscience. Diane wiped her eyes. I can't take back what I did. But I can make sure it stops. Grace's phone buzzed. Text from Rachel. My mom called me. Told me what she's doing. Grace, thank you. For showing her who she was. For giving her a chance to be better. Grace stared at the text. Then she looked at Daniel. What happens if we go public with Diane's evidence? Henderson collapses. Lawsuits. Investigations. Bankruptcy maybe. How many people work there? 3,000. 3,000 people lose their jobs because of me. Not because of you. Because Henderson broke the law. Feels the same. Rosa touched her hand. Grace, those 3,000 people worked for a company built on discrimination. Built on erasing women like us. Sometimes things need to break before they can be fixed. Grace looked at the drive. 3,000 jobs. Or justice. She couldn't have both. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. Didn't care anymore. Grace Adimi, yes. This is Amanda Williams. I'm the interim CEO at Henderson. I need to meet with you. Tonight. Alone. I have a gag order. This isn't about the lawsuit. This is about ending this. All of it. What are you offering? Everything. Settlement. Full admission of wrongdoing. Policy changes. Reinstatement if you want it. Visa sponsorship guaranteed. Grace's heart pounded. In exchange for silence. Sign the NDA. Take the money. Let us rebuild quietly. How much? $5 million. Grace almost dropped the phone. $5 million tax-free. Immediate transfer. You'd never have to work again. You could go anywhere. Do anything. Grace looked at Rosa. At Diane. At Daniel. $5 million. Or her voice. I need to think. You have 1 hour. After that the offer expires and we go to war. Amanda hung up. Daniel stared at Grace. Did she just offer you $5 million? Yes. Grace, that's life-changing money. I know. Rosa squeezed her hand. What are you going to do? Grace stood. Walked to the window. Looked out at the street. She thought about her mother. About selling the family land. About 5 years of silence. About every black woman who'd come before her and stayed quiet. About everyone who'd come after. She thought about $5 million. About security. About never worrying again. She thought about her voice. Her phone buzzed. Text from her mother. Grace, whatever you choose, I'm proud. But remember, the crown fits those brave enough to wear it. Not those rich enough to buy it. Grace read it 3 times. Then she called Amanda. I have your answer. And no. Silence on the other end. No, I'm not signing your NDA. I'm not taking your money. I'm going to testify. I'm going to fight. And I'm going to win. Grace, be reasonable. I've been reasonable for 5 years. I'm done. She hung up. Looked at Daniel. Release everything. Diane's files. The recordings. Everything. Grace, are you sure? Number. But I'm doing it anyway. Daniel nodded. Started uploading. Within minutes files went live. Emails. Recordings. Years of discrimination documented. Grace's phone exploded. Calls. Texts. Media requests. She ignored them all. Just stood at the window. Watching the sun set over Dallas. She'd just turned down $5 million. She'd just guaranteed Henderson's destruction. She'd probably just destroyed any chance of staying in America. But she'd kept her voice. And right now that felt like enough. Her phone rang one last time. Unknown number. She answered. Grace Adime, this is the State Attorney General. We've reviewed the documents you released. We're opening a criminal investigation into Henderson Corporate Solutions. We'd like you to testify before a grand jury. Grace closed her eyes. When? Tomorrow. 9 a.m. I'll be there. She hung up. Looked at Rosa. At Diane. At Daniel. They want me to testify. Tomorrow. The gag order Daniel started. Doesn't apply to criminal proceedings. You can testify there. Grace nodded. Felt something shift inside her. This wasn't over. This was just beginning. Grace didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. Just sat at her laptop reviewing documents. Preparing testimony. Daniel arrived at 6 a.m. with coffee and a suit. Wear this. Grand jury wants professional. Grace looked at the suit. Black. Conservative. The uniform of invisibility. No. Grace, I wore suits for 5 years. Straightened my hair. Made myself small. Not anymore. She put on jeans. A simple shirt. Left her hair natural. Daniel opened his mouth. Closed it. Nodded. Okay. Let's go. They drove to the courthouse. Different one. Criminal division. Grace's phone buzzed. Text from Rosa. I'm testifying too. After you. We're in this together. Then Diane. I'm outside. Ready when you are. Then Sarah. Filed my formal complaint this morning. HR tried to stop me. I recorded everything. Then Mark. Submitted my resignation. Told them exactly why. It's on the record now. Grace read them all. Felt something building. Not just her story anymore. Everyone's story. They entered through security. Metal detectors. ID checks. Prosecutor met them. Woman in her 40s. Sharp eyes. Linda Chen. Ms. Adime. Thank you for coming. Did I have a choice? Linda smiled. Thin. No. But you came anyway. That takes courage. Or stupidity. Sometimes they're the same thing. Linda led them to a conference room. Before we go in, you need to understand. Grand jury isn't like trial. No judge. No defense attorneys. Just prosecutors asking questions and jurors deciding if there's enough evidence for criminal charges. What are you charging them with? Wire fraud. Tax evasion. Civil rights violations. Conspiracy. We're building a RICO case. Grace blinked. RICO, like organized crime. Corporate fraud is organized crime. Just with better suits. How long will this take? Your testimony 2 hours. The investigation years. But we're fast-tracking because of public pressure. Linda looked at her. Grace, what you did opened this up. But I need you to understand. This testimony is permanent. You'll be under oath. Everything you say can be used. Against Henderson. Against you if you lie. There's no taking it back. I'm not planning to lie. Good. Let's go. The grand jury room was smaller than Grace expected. 23 people sitting in rows. Regular people. Different ages. Different races. All staring at her. Grace sat. Raised her right hand. Swore to tell the truth. Linda started questioning. State your name for the record. Grace Adime. And you worked at Henderson Corporate Solutions from 2019 to 2024, yes? Tell us what happened. Grace took a breath. Started talking. She told them everything. The first day. The stolen work. The isolation. The group chat. The performance reviews. The client meeting. The firing. Linda showed documents. Emails. Recordings. Photos Rosa had taken. Can you identify this email? That's from Diane Morrison to Brad Hutchins. They're discussing letting my visa expire. And this recording, that's Diane planning to target my family to intimidate me. 2 hours passed. Linda kept questioning. Grace kept answering. Then Linda pulled out something new. Grace had never seen it before. Ms. Adime, are you familiar with Henderson's diversity hiring quotas number? According to internal documents, Henderson received federal contracts requiring specific diversity numbers. They hired black employees to meet quotas. Then systematically pushed them out within 2 years to avoid promotion costs. Grace's breath caught. They hired us to check boxes and fired you to save money. It's fraud. They took federal money under false pretenses. How many? 47 black employees over 5 years. Average tenure 18 months. All rated meets expectations despite exceeding metrics. All pushed out before promotion eligibility. Grace felt dizzy. 47. Not 7. 47 people erased. Why are you telling me this? Because you're not a victim. You're a witness to systematic fraud. And your testimony is going to bring down the entire operation. Linda finished questioning. Grace stepped down. Walked out. Daniel met her in the hallway. How'd it go? They're not just going after discrimination. They're going after fraud. Federal contracts. RICO. Henderson's done. Good. Rosa testified next. Then Diane. Then Sarah. Then Mark. By noon the grand jury had heard from 6 witnesses. Seen hundreds of documents. Heard recordings. Linda emerged 2 hours later. They're voting. How long? Could be minutes. Could be hours. It took 30 minutes. Linda's phone rang. She answered. Listened. Hung up. Looked at Grace. They indicted. 18 counts. Fraud. Civil rights violations. Conspiracy. The board members are going to be arrested today. Grace sat down. Felt the weight of it. What happens now? Now we build the case. Now we go to trial. Now we change things. Grace's phone exploded. News breaking. Henderson Corporate Solutions Board indicted on federal charges. Within minutes, trending nationwide. Within an hour, Henderson's stock dropped 40%. Within 2 hours, major clients announcing they were dropping Henderson. Grace watched the company collapse in real time. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered without thinking. Grace. Brad's voice. Shaking. Desperate. What did you do? I told the truth. They're arresting people. The board. Diane. My career is over. Everything's over. Good. Good. Do you understand what you've destroyed? Families. Lives. People's futures. Like you destroyed mine. I took credit for some work. That's not the same as this. You stole 5 years of my life. You made me invisible. You tried to destroy my visa. You threatened my mother. Grace's voice was ice. You're right. It's not the same. What I did is justice. What you did is cruelty. Brad hung up. Grace stared at her phone. Felt nothing. No satisfaction. No joy. Just tired. Her phone rang again. Different number. Grace, it's Amanda Williams. Interim CEO. You're still interim, not for long. Board's going to jail. Company's collapsing. I'm resigning effective immediately. Why are you calling? To tell you were right. About everything. And to say I'm sorry. I knew what was happening. I said nothing. I protected my career over people's lives. Amanda's voice cracked. I'm as guilty as they are. Yes. You are. I know. I'm stepping down. I'm cooperating with prosecutors. I'm testifying against everyone. Maybe that doesn't fix anything. But it's what I can do. Amanda hung up. Grace sat in the courthouse hallway. People walking past. Lawyers. Defendants. Families. Everyone living their own dramas. Linda approached. Grace, there's something else. The judge reviewing your gag order. He recused himself. His brother's on Henderson's board. Conflict of interest. The gag order is lifted. Grace looked up. I can talk, you can talk. Grace stood. Walked outside. Cameras everywhere. Reporters swarming. She stopped. Faced them. I have a statement. Everyone went quiet. Cameras focused. 6 days ago I was fired for telling the truth. Today a grand jury indicted my former employer on 18 federal charges. I didn't do this for revenge. I did it because 47 black women were hired, used and discarded. I did it because the system protects power over people. I did it because staying silent was killing me. Grace paused. Looked directly at the cameras. To every woman watching this. Every immigrant. Every person who's been made to feel invisible. You're not crazy. You're not too sensitive. You're not imagining it. The system is designed to erase you. But you don't have to accept it. Speak. Fight. Refuse to be invisible. Grace, what about your visa? A reporter shouted. I don't know. It might get revoked. I might have to leave America. But at least I'll leave visible. Do you regret this? Grace thought about $5 million. About staying quiet. About being safe. No. Not for 1 second. She walked away. Got in Daniel's car. He drove in silence. Then what now? I don't know. They pulled up to Grace's apartment. White van still parked across the street. Grace got out. Walked toward it. Daniel grabbed her arm. Grace, don't. She knocked on the van window. It rolled down. Reporter. Camera equipment inside. How long have you been watching me? The reporter looked embarrassed. 3 days. I'm sorry. My editor wanted footage. Of what? Me breaking down, me being scared of you being human. Of the cost of fighting back. Grace stared at him. You want to see the cost? Film this. She walked to her apartment. Opened the door. Let him follow. The apartment was small. Bare. Just furniture. No decorations. No photos except her mother. No life. This is what 5 years of being invisible looks like. I never put down roots. Never made it home. Because I never felt like I belonged. The reporter filmed. Then lowered his camera. I'm sorry. For invading your privacy. For treating this like entertainment. It's not entertainment. It's my life. I know. I'll delete the footage. No. Use it. Let people see. The real cost isn't money. It's not having a home. Grace closed the door. Sat on her couch. Her phone rang. Mother. Grace, I saw your testimony on the news. BBC is running it. Al Jazeera. Everyone is watching. Mama, I might have to come home. Then come home. I feel like I failed. Failed? Her mother's voice turned sharp. Grace Adimi, you brought down a corporation. You exposed fraud. You gave voice to 47 women. You changed laws. How is that failure? I lost everything. No. You lost a job. A visa. An apartment. But you found yourself. You found your voice. You found your crown. Her mother paused. Grace, I want to tell you something. When your father died, I had a choice. Stay silent about the company that caused the accident. Take their settlement. Or fight. I stayed silent. I took the money. I've regretted it every day since. Grace felt her heart stop. Mama, you never told me because I was ashamed. But watching you fighting back, you did what I couldn't. You wore the crown I was too afraid to wear. What if I have to leave America? Then you leave with your head high. There's honor in that. Her mother hung up. Grace sat in silence. Her phone buzzed. Email from Immigration Services. Her hands shook opening it. Ms. Adimi, your visa renewal application has been approved for emergency processing due to your cooperation with federal investigation. You have been granted a U visa. Temporary status for crime victims and witnesses. Valid for 4 years. Work authorization included. Grace read it 3 times. A U visa. For crime victims and witnesses. She wasn't being deported. She could stay. She could work. She started crying. Deep gasping sobs. Relief. Exhaustion. Everything. Her phone rang. Congresswoman Martinez. Grace, I just heard about your visa. Congratulations. Thank you. But I'm calling about something else. The legislation. The Grace Adime Workplace Protection Act. We're fast-tracking it. Vote next month. It would protect immigrant whistleblowers from visa retaliation. Make it illegal to threaten immigration status. Grace, you changed the law. Grace couldn't speak. Will you come to Washington when we vote? Stand with us, yes. Good. Because you need to see what you built. Grace hung up. Sat in her empty apartment. Felt something shift. She'd lost her job, but she'd kept her voice. She'd lost her safety, but she'd found her power. She'd lost her invisibility, and that was the greatest gift of all. Her phone rang one last time. Rosa. Grace, I have news. A tech company in Austin called me. They saw my story. They're offering me a position. Director of Workplace Ethics. They want someone who knows what discrimination looks like. Someone who's not afraid to fight it. Rosa, that's amazing. They asked if I knew anyone else who might be interested. Someone who's experienced, qualified, fearless. Are you offering me a job? I'm offering you a partnership. Help me build something different. Something better. Grace looked around her apartment. At 5 years of not belonging. I'll think about it. Don't think too long. The world's watching. You can write your own future now. Rosa hung up. Grace stood, walked to her window, looked out at Dallas. This city that had never wanted her. This country that had tried to erase her. But she was still here. Still visible. Still fighting. Her phone buzzed. Message from Jennifer Park. Grace, I'm writing a book. About your story. About the women you saved. About the system you exposed. Will you help? Grace typed back yes. Then Keisha called. Grace, I got my job back. My employer saw the news. Apologized. Promoted me. Thank you. Then Aisha. My landlord backed down. Said he was wrong. I'm staying. Then Sarah. HR fired my manager. They're investigating the whole department. It's happening. Then Mark. Started consulting. Helping companies audit their diversity programs. Making sure they're real. Not just boxes to check. One by one people called. Texted. Emailed. Telling Grace how speaking up changed their lives. She answered each one. Listened to each story. By evening Grace sat exhausted. But not broken. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Last call of the day. She answered. Grace Adime, yes. This is Dr. Amara Okafor. From University of Lagos. We spoke before. I remember. I'm calling with an offer. Come teach at University of Lagos. Business ethics. Share your story with young Nigerians. Help them prepare for the world. I just got my U visa. I can stay in America. I know. But I'm not asking you to run away. I'm asking you to come home triumphant. To teach the next generation. To show them what fighting back looks like. Grace thought about it. America or Nigeria. Stay or go. Can I have time to decide? Take all the time you need. The position is yours when you're ready. Grace hung up. Sat in silence. She had choices now. Real choices. Stay. Go. Fight. Teach. Build. 6 days ago she had none. Her phone buzzed one final time. Text from her mother. Whatever you choose, wear your crown. Adime. The crown is yours. Grace looked at her reflection in the dark window. She saw a different woman. Not invisible. Not broken. Not silent. She saw someone who'd fought back. Who'd spoken up. Who'd refused to disappear. She saw someone wearing her crown. Grace picked up her phone. Started typing. Not to anyone specific. Just words. Thoughts. Truth. They called me a troublemaker. A liar. A threat. They tried to silence me with money. With threats. With fear. But here's what they didn't understand. Invisible people aren't powerless. We're everywhere. We see everything. And when we finally speak, the whole world listens. She posted it. Closed her phone. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. New fights. New choices. But tonight Grace Adime sat in her apartment and knew one thing absolutely. She was no longer invisible. She was no longer afraid. She was no longer silent. And that was worth more than $5 million. That was worth everything. 3 weeks later Grace stood in the Senate gallery. Congresswoman Martinez at the podium. Today we pass the Grace Adimi Workplace Protection Act. This law protects immigrant whistleblowers, makes visa retaliation a federal crime, ensures that speaking truth never costs someone their right to stay. The vote was unanimous. Grace watched them sign. Her name in the law. Permanent. Unchangeable. After reporters swarmed. Grace, how does it feel? It feels like visibility. What's next for you? Grace thought about the job offer in Austin, the teaching position in Lagos, the book deal, the speaking invitations, all the choices she now had. I don't know yet. But whatever it is, I'll do it visible. I'll do it loud. And I'll do it wearing my crown. 6 months later, Henderson Corporate Solutions filed for bankruptcy. Board members went to prison. 3,000 employees lost jobs. But 2,000 of them got hired by new companies. Companies with real diversity, real accountability, real change. Because Grace had shown the world what invisible people could do when they refused to stay silent. Rosa became director of workplace ethics. Changed her company from inside. Diane testified at trial. Lost her career. But got her daughter back. Sarah became a workplace investigator, helping other women fight back. Mark started a consulting firm, making sure diversity wasn't just a quota. And Grace decided to do both. Teach in Lagos 6 months. Consult in America 6 months. Split her time, her voice, her crown. Because she'd learned something in those 6 days. Home isn't a country. It's not a visa. It's not a place. Home is being seen. And Grace Adimi was seen now. By everyone. Forever. She'd come to America invisible. Legal but erased. She was leaving visible. Vocal. Powerful. Not because she won. But because she fought. Not because it was easy. But because it was necessary. Not because she had nothing to lose. But because she had everything to gain. Her voice. Her dignity. Her crown. Grace Adimi was no longer invisible. And she would never be erased again.